Yeah. How are you, sir? Okay, we are recording.
Thank you, Steve, and happy birthday to you, Steve.
Thank you.
Happy
Great. Yesterday.
And who, Kathy Pirro?
Yes.
Is that another birthday?
And we had a celebration of all of the fall staff birthdays as a combined group. So congratulations to the entire staff. I think everyone but one had a birthday in the fall.
Wow, happy birthday. Well, I'm pleased to call this meeting to order. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We've got a full agenda and let's get to it. We'll begin with the Governance and Nominating Committee. And Rachel Levine will give us that report, please.
Yeah, so we met, we talked about committee alternates. We're, sometimes struggling with quorum at our committee meetings, especially when we have something that needs to be voted on to be brought to the whole board. So we would like to have Gary Graziano, since he is working in the building and very close at hand in case we needed to meet a quorum, and we would like I think we need a vote for Gary to be a committee alternate. Also putting it out to everyone that we need alternates. So if you are interested now, you could let us know, or you can also just email me. But we'll need a vote for Gary to be an official committee alternate. Just need.
Make motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So Carrie, thank you, Gary,
You're welcome.
for offering to do that. Also, we have our slate of officers. Everyone in the positions is on the slate, everyone currently. So we will need a vote to confirm these officers.
I move to accept the slate of officers.
Thank you, Ragnar.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So carried, thank you so much. And then board candidate discussion.
Yeah, we, at the committee meeting, we talked about the continuing need to fill several vacancies on the board. Just to make it a little bit easier to have a quorum at every meeting, very important. So we want to ask your help in identifying potential candidates for board seats moving forward. And rather than asking you to call out a name of someone while we're on live TV and surprise them, kind of pass around a sheet of paper that asks you to just write down the name of someone that you think might be interested, might be someone to consider. Put your name on it, put their name on it, pass it back in. Rachel and I will review them and we'll get in touch with you at some point in the future to flesh out whether and how to approach that person as a potential candidate.
Looking to fill certain needs or check certain boxes of people.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Not particularly. I think we've had a couple vacancies now for a little while, and it would be great to get someone in who has professional experience and kind of understands what being a board member is, but it's not necessary, someone professional.
Okay. I just asked because we went through that recently on a couple of my boards and we ended up doing a matrix and seeing where we felt like we didn't have representation, et cetera, and it was really helpful.
I think manufacturing is the one that we've called out,
Okay.
but I don't think we've had any luck in identifying someone in that sector.
In housing and development, we also.
Yeah.
I have one here for the contractors end of a thing, so possibly for.
Thank you. So thank you for your input and continue to pass along those suggestions. We'll see if we can fill those 2 or 3 vacant seats going into the new year. Thank you. Anything else from the committee?
Nothing.
All right, thank you. Loan committee report. We'll begin with the dashboard piece.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Loan Client we've been talking about, I sent some information to the loan committee, that is regarding their property view of sale. Loan Client B has made a double payment actually, so they are caught up. Loan Client C, we talked about in executive session with the loan committee, and, Mike and I met with the client, earlier this week, so we're moving forward. Doing what we can do on that one. And Loan Client D also made their payment, they are caught up. Are there any questions on this portfolio?
Motion to approve. Made a motion. Second, you second?
All in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed?
Chairman, one point, Martha and Steve and I have seen articles in the paper, particularly in the Saratoga region of breweries closing. And so we did do a review of the loans we have the breweries. We have 3, and we feel very comfortable with them, not only based on some most cases performance, but also the guarantors.
Thank you for.
And we had loaned approximately $180,000 initially to those 3 breweries, and they're all about halfway. They paid down about $85,000 still outstanding, but it does seem that there is a shift in the craft beverage arena.
so get down there and support those brewers.
I'll give you the names of the 3.
Is that a motion?
When we see these types of industry adjustments, we try to at least see where we are in reviewing our risk.
The Cafe Mutton loan request.
Good morning, everybody. So this is Flying Horsey Fruit Tea Company, doing business at Cafe Mountain here in Hudson. Their request of us was $40,000 that will split between our 2 loan funds across 72 months. Interest rate being 7.75%. That monthly payment is just under $700 a month. Purpose of the loan: equipment and supply purchases with some working capital, and our collateral being a lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of the principal. It was mentioned in our loan committee, a question come up regarding the lease. It is through 2028. So this is Cafe Mutton's here in Hudson. That's not for sale.
And so it's the property across the street?
Literally across our street.
Okay.
And this is an opportunity for them to expand.
So that lease does represent a risk because our loan extends past the lease maturity. So something to think about with all of this.
Is there a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, which brings us to Dirty Dog Farm LLC located in Claremont, agribusiness. Their request of us was $100,000 that we will be splitting between our 2 loan funds. Also with a blended interest rate. The SBA loan across 72 months at 7.75%, while the CEDC loan across 96 months at 5.75%. The total monthly payment being just over $1,455. Purchase of the loan, purchase of materials and equipment. Our collateral being a lien on business assets, the personal guarantee of the 2 principals, and an additional guarantor who's provided us a PFS, a very strong PFS. So this is Dirty Dog Farm in Claremont.
Questions, comments?
What are they farming?
This is a beef.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
is that one of our larger loans?
That would be one of our larger loans. And that's why we did the split and the blended interest rate on the CEDs fund specifically.
It's a well-established business. It's
Well-established business. They had an ad campaign recently, that went viral. So they are literally trying to catch up with their expansion.
As you can see from the write-up, a very unique business model. And at the committee, we discussed the possibility of them, doing more retail or doing more direct sales to restaurants, but they're so booked with their people buying the package of product that right now we wouldn't have enough supply to do that.
we were nervous about the, rapid growth without a sort of increase in profit, but I will say that the guarantor has bailed us out for, so it made me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, the fact that the guarantor makes this a very strong loan application.
I would make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. My hometown of Philmont, local 111.
I think most of us are familiar with Leona Kitchen Inc. They're based in Philmont. They are celebrating 20 years of business next year. And they're using the proceeds of this loan to refresh their social media presence as well as the interior. It's a $50,000 loan request, split between the two loan funds, 7 3/4. A monthly payment of $870, and the use is equipment purchases and working capital. We'll have a lien on business assets, second lien, and the personal guarantee of the principal.
Questions, comments?
Quick question, these places, like, do they have anything out, any other loans outstanding?
There is one other loan outstanding, and it's an EIDL, which most businesses in the country and across, or, in the county certainly received an EIDL during COVID. So we would be behind the SBA in terms of our lien.
The issue there is it's EIDL loans are 30 years at 3.75%, and the odds that it would be in default or get called before we got paid out, it's a risk, but unlikely. They all came together at the same time, the crisis, but.
Is there a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
We do have one issue where we do have a loan on a boat that was used for commercial purposes where the lender has filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And Andy, could you just give a brief update report on that litigation?
Yeah, so I looked at the, it's a liquidation bankruptcy. We're one of the two secured creditors. We're in second position, but we talked about it at the loan committee. When I looked, the first only is on 79,000. So they're predicting that there's going to be money available even to pay beyond us. So hopefully they sell the boat. Now, granted, the devil's in the detail, and they actually go to sell, to see what value they get for a boat. So that, it's not like a house.
And actually, there's two boats, but.
Yeah.
And Martha and I met with the principal of the company just to reach out, offer our support, indicate is there anything that we could do to be helpful in going through this difficult process. And Martha, did you want to give a brief comment on our meeting?
He's such a reputable individual. We've been working with him for over 10 years. They're personally paying the insurance on the boat to make sure that that is in order, and working full time at the age of 76, trying to make ends meet.
And they're maintaining it as well. They have it in the boatyard, Albany, and they'll go in and do the team maintenance so that when it does go to sale, it's not a dry dock boat. But he was very gracious and grateful that we met with him.
And our last loan request is Post Grill Cafe.
Yes, based on feedback from the loan committee, we went back to the client and asked them to rework their numbers. In particular, their labor costs really didn't align with what they stated in their business plan. So they did rework those numbers. I think we're in better shape. We asked them to increase their food costs a little bit, which they did. It was suggested that we review the quotes they received on their insurance, that they were happy to send us those quotes. They're now calling it a Mediterranean style restaurant, which I think maybe has broader appeal. So we're comfortable with this loan. He's requesting $50,000. It's a 72-month note, same interest rate, 7 3/4. The purpose is equipment, inventory, and working capital. Will have a lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of the principal.
Martha, there was something about a house and. Is this the one that had, there was a lien on a house or something that was part of the collateral that
That
has
is
been
correct.
forgiven or?
Do we need to go into executive session to inspect that?
Oh, I was just curious. I don't, if you're comfortable with the loan, it's fine with me. I was just curious.
We are waiting for a letter from the IRS confirming the status of that housing, and once we receive it, we'll be set to close.
Any other questions or comments on this one? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Justin. On to the President CEO report. Mike?
Good morning. I'll start with the treasurer's report. On page 8 of the packet. There's not significant change in the balance sheet. The increase in net asset and total assets and liabilities is the result of additional borrowing from the SBA and the additional and the fact that last year at this time we're $100,000. We have more loans, $100,000 of additional loans on the street from the CEDC loan fund. And so, it's basically a strong balance sheet with, again, significantly dependent on the loan fund for the asset and liability numbers. Any questions on the balance sheet? Moving to page 11. Just jump to page 12. Our net income is $92,000. At this point, we had projected a negative 26,000. So we're $119,000 to the good. We are total income is down $9,000 off budget on $1 million. So I'm happy to be that close. Obviously, the bulk of that relates to not having filled a staff position that we had anticipated having this year. On the areas where we were down on income, basically we anticipated having 2 IDA projects closed this year that did not close. There's a potential that the Crescent project over on Warren Street, that IDA project would close and we would get a $10,000 fee at the time of closing from that project, which would pretty much bring us into sync with our budget. On the expense side, you'll see that the only area where we're on page 11 that we're over budget is the $5,000. The land bank, we're anticipating getting the county land bank has paid us for the first and second quarter. They haven't paid us for the third, and we'll get paid for the fourth quarter. The first year of the land bank, we received a $30,000 fee. Beginning in July, that went up to $60,000. So the early expense related to that will be covered by the increased income and by reimbursement that they owe us with respect to that expense. On the next page, I think we've talked about this before. We had under budgeted the amount that we would owe the SBA on the loans that we had drawn down from them based on some confusion on our part that during COVID, they didn't charge us interest. And so when we used the historic number to create the number for the budget, we didn't pick up the fact that they would be charging us interest on funds at a higher rate now that we're far beyond the COVID situation. With respect to, if we go into get into December and we're at the December meeting, we'll have the November numbers and I will project out the December numbers. And we'll make a recommendation as to whether or not, depending on how much net income we're projecting, to transfer some to the, available for, bad debt. So that, again, not because we're concerned about bad debt, but, you know, if we're not for profit, serving our mission, you know, you don't need to have $100,000 profit. And if you can put it into that, if in fact there was a time when we had to write off debt, it wouldn't be written off against that year's income. The other thing I would like to request, is right now, we have sufficient funding, or sufficient cash, to more than get us through, December. But I'm concerned because, the SBA has not paid us for the third quarter. Reimbursement, part that indicates is about $76,000. And when, we went to ask after the government reopened, when we could anticipate our funds, which we would normally have by this point in time, they said, will you, anyone that applied, before the funding has to reapply, resubmit. And there was no question about the fact that we were getting paid. They were going through an extra step. We have about $220,000 in a reserve account at the Bank of Greene County that we have not touched since it was created.
Not a loan reserve.
No, it's a
rainy day.
It's a board directed reserve account. I'd like to have authority to go into that account up to $76,000 in the event that in January we have further delay in getting paid by the SBA, so that we're not, you know, struggling for cash flow depending on when the county pays us. And with the understanding that if we, for whatever we did draw on that account, if at all, we would use the check from the SBA to immediately restore it. But again, I don't want to have an emergency meeting to do that. And again, we're running about $100,000 a month, a little bit less. And right now, I think we have 125,000 in cash. We do have, you know, 30 coming in from the land bank, but I just don't want to be in a situation where we have to have a crisis when we can plan, and it's based on, normally we would have received the third quarter payment from the SBA at this time.
Any thoughts to working capital line of credit?
Well, you know, I always thought that, you know, the ultimate personal line of credit is borrowing from ourselves, but, you know, I think this is, I don't think we need a line of credit. And I think you get, you know, you get,
Saving interest costs and just putting it out there.
yeah. You know, it's something maybe we could have the finance committee look at.
Yeah.
But I do think that,
Maybe updating cash flow projections if you think we're getting to this point.
yeah, and I think that, you know, again, if you go back to page 10, yes. So this is the analysis that we do every month. And you can see at the bottom of the second column, operating at the bottom of the page. On an operating basis, we've lost 13,000 this year. But we've made 92 because of the interest on the loan funds. And, you know, there have been years where we were $40,000 or $50,000 negative in the operating, and the loan fund was carrying it. I think that, you know, what we can prepare, Brian, is for the finance committee meeting is a look at what cash flow is going to look like based on the anticipated 2026 budget. And I think it would be, I think I would feel more comfortable if the line of credit was with the bank rather than ourselves, because it's uncomfortable borrowing from yourself when the purpose of the money that you're borrowing is for a different part of our mission.
Right.
So the request would be for the board to authorize the president and CEO to take $76,000, up to $76,000 from the reserve fund for
For the purposes of meeting cash flow obligations to be secured by the anticipated receivable from the SBA of 76,000.
other questions or discussion about that?
This happens January.
We wouldn't need it till January. I don't think we're gonna need it, but I wanted to be in a situation where, if the SBA or the government, delays us 2 quarters.
Right.
We're gonna need it.
I'll make the motion.
A second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, Mike. What else do you have? Anything?
Anything else, for the treasurer's report? Thank you.
To accept the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Treasurer's report is accepted.
Thank you. I first want to acknowledge and thank you all. I received many comments from many of you and others on my announcement. Tony Jones says you sure know how to play the press. And we did get some good media from the Times Union and the Business Review, the Register Star, and the Columbia paper. Deb Lands at the Columbia paper, if you didn't see that article, we'll circulate it, but she said that if she started off by saying, if you wanted to have a conversation with me, you better have a lot of time. Only to be followed by, I had the energy and enthusiasm of a 5-year-old at the county fair. Now, my 5-year-old granddaughter thought that was very interesting, but it was a very nice piece. I was a little bit turfed with gossips. I didn't make gossips. And she said, well, when the Register Star scoops me, I don't report on it. I'll report when you leave. But I love to give Carol a tweet every once in a while. Thank you. I guess I had goosebumps yesterday when we went to the ribbon cutting of the pocketbook factory. It was 5 years ago that Gabriel Katz and his father called, and we had a Zoom call that they introduced themselves. They indicated they were planning in the process of evaluating the purchase of the pocketbook factory building from Eleanor Ambrose. And we began a discussion that evolved in conversations related to their purchase and then their IDA application. It's a $25 million IDA project. They've probably spent, they said, around 30 million. It's a building that had been empty for 40+ years. When you look at what they've done and what they've had the capacity to do, it's just an amazing project. And it was really fun working with Gabriel and Sean Rollins, their local partner, who are probably both under 35. And I really felt good about it. And I think they were very complimentary of CEDC in the process. Yesterday, Martha and I met with Mayor-elect Ferris from Hudson. We had a good meeting. We had several meetings with him prior to the election at his request. We primarily discussed yesterday giving more information about the loan fund as it relates to businesses in the city. But we focused on the IDA, the Hudson IDA. The Hudson IDA is one of the few IDAs in the state where it's not business and community leaders appointed by the chief elected official, approved by the city council or board of supervisors, but it's the mayor, the minority and majority leader of the council, the city treasurer, the city assessor, a representative of the planning board, and a citizen. The citizen seat used to be held by a member of the school board, but after a certain point in time, school board members didn't have time to go to IDA meetings as well. So the council voted 8 years ago to make that a seat representing the community. And there's this Charles Millar sits in that seat now as a business person. there is legislation from Senator Skoufis, who does not like IDAs, to prohibit elected officials or appointed city government officials from serving. The main issue is going to be, there'll be a new mayor. The current majority leader is now the president of the city, going to be the president of the city council. It's uncertain whether the minority leader will be reelected as the minority leader. It's possible, but you know, it's an open. The planning board chair representative is going off the planning board because his term is up and most likely will not get reappointed. So it's going to be the treasurer and the assessor. So 5 out of the 7 seats are going to change. And the mayor will be one of those members. So, you know, I think there's going to be an education process as to, you know, I know when this had happened previously, there was a sense that, well, IDAs are just corporate, you know, corporate welfare, and we shouldn't be giving pilots, and we shouldn't be giving discounts on sales tax, and you know, I think we do want to, you know, go through the process. During the last 10 years, and as you'll recall, at that time, the state told the city IDA to shut down because they hadn't done a deal in 10 years. And we worked with them to have the county IDA do the Wick Hotel project, provided they gave us the terms of the pilot agreement, so we didn't have people in the city saying the county was giving away tax dollars. And we gave them half the fee. They used that $40,000 half fee to pay CEDC for the next 4 years, $10,000 a year. Today they have over $700,000 in the bank, and we've approved $120 million projects. I think if you were there yesterday and saw the potential of you know, energizing the city in a way that wouldn't have been possible without a 40-room hotel and banquet space and restaurant and bar and health spa that's coming, and other areas. And recognize that with hotels in the city, the hotel revenue is going to get a 5% bed tax. So to the extent that, you know, they lost 6% of the 8% sales tax, to the extent that they lost 25% of the $200,000 mortgage tax, and they gave up 30% of the revenue for the pilot agreement, they're going to get a guaranteed $150,000 a year, escalating at the inflation rate of hotel rooms forever in the future. So I think we do have to go through a process, and now that the county IDA is getting more projects, I think obviously we're going to have the same issue in each of the towns. That what do you mean they got a tax break and we didn't? We do go through a very extensive economic analysis as to what would that property generate in taxes if there was no project? What would the project generate if there was a project but no pilot? Then we look at each IDA has what's called a uniform pilot policy, which is basically 50% discount in the first year down to 0% in the 10th year. And if the project requests a deviation from that, we compare what they're asking for, not only to no project with no pilot, but what they would get under the uniform pilot, and then make an evaluation as to whether there should be a greater benefit. And there's a public hearing where the public has the opportunity to participate. And one of the things with the city IDA, the average is about 10% of the project costs are incentivized by the IDA. They have gone as high as 24% with respect to the potential J.L. Edwards School project and the potential, well, not potential, but the redevelopment of Schuyler Court Providence Hall, which is a Section 8 project. Obviously, using the incentive of a higher percentage incentive to encourage affordable housing. So again, we put ourselves at some reputational risk managing the two county IDAs in the minds of people who think that this is corporate welfare. And, I think I'll update you more on the mechanics of that as we go forward. The county IDA meets next Tuesday. We have the $12 million summit, project in Philmont at the old, knitting factory, up on the pond. And they have not asked for a deviation. So is that what it was, a knitting factory? I think
It was some kind of
textile
textile.
factory. They're not asking for a deviation from the uniform pilot. But again, that's not as of right to get those benefits. So, and we also have a potential hospitality resort in Claverick. It's in the public domain because the project's currently before the planning board. That would be a $40 million hotel project. There's a $40 million hotel project before the city IDA right now for the old Elks Club. Again, just in anticipating some of, I guess there's already been some feedback on some of the social media pages that I know follow in Hudson that, about this hotel. But, that hotel, the request was not, what they've asked for is not acceptable. But they're within some range, their IDA could approve a proposed amendment to that. But that hotel could generate $250,000 a year in new bed tax. So I do think that, to the extent that we anticipate in December asking you to renew the contracts with the two IDAs, I thought I'd take a little bit of time in my report today to discuss that.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Did the bed tax that has to get money?
Only to the city.
Only to
The
the
county doesn't have a bed tax at this point.
Okay.
They do have a tax on Airbnbs. Is that correct, Chris? But
It's not being collected yet, though.
no, and it's, there's some big issues there that I've been working on, and the Airbnb people are tightening you want us to help you collect it, you have to waive your rights to it. And, we're in contact with the governor's office, on how to interpret that, because they're basically asking you to violate the law. So, we did have a good meeting with the mayor. I also raised the issue of our relationship with Hudson Development Corporation, which I think is, a very positive relationship, but because they have gone for 5 years or 7 years without a full-time executive director, except for a brief period where they did have someone in that position, and now fortunately they have a full-time person in that position. Many things that might have gone to them, because they were the city's economic development office, came to us. And I said, it wasn't because we were aggressively attempting to do the work of the HDC, but with open communication, and bringing those things to HDC to do on their own if they wanted to, whether it was relating to the CAS site or relating to the 7th Street Park or other projects, they fell to us and we did them. So I said, there could be a revival of things that go away from us and back to HDC if, depending on how they staff up. And I did explain to him their request for us to do, administer loans for them, and explain to him why I had turned down that opportunity and made a proposal that if they made referrals to us, we would give them a finder's fee for loans of our money. And he seemed to understand that. So I didn't, coming into it, I didn't want him to not know our side of the story on HDC. And I think it's a positive relationship. I did have 2 calls in last month or this past month with Jess Wallen, the executive director. They hope to be able to get back to us next month. They were encouraged and they like the idea of being the loan referral. And I kind of gave them the example where a small bank may have a credit card, but it's really somebody else's credit card in the back office. And it's really a marketing tool. So we continue to partner and work on a positive basis with HTC. One issue that came up last night at the county's Economic Development Committee meeting was, is there a need for a flag hotel, if you will, Holiday Inn Express in the 9H corridor, somewhere between Claverick and Chatham. Two of the supervisors there indicated that they're getting pressure, or not pressure, but concern from several of the large wedding venues that charge 20 grand to use the farm for the weekend, that there's nowhere for people to stay other than at the St. Charles or the Wick on the low end of the scale, and the Maker and these new hotels at the high end of the scale. And so one thing we were discussing was perhaps there's an opportunity to do an economic development corridor study along 9H. And I've said for some time that I felt that the next commercial epicenter of the county was going to be 9H and 66, and I think that's beginning to evolve with the proposed apartment complex there that's still under consideration, and the other the property on Big Valley Road.
So do we have funds in our new initiatives budget to pursue that?
I think we would need to get a grant. We'd have to get a. I think it could be, $50,000 to $100,000 to do it right.
Okay.
They did one in Whistler County from the Columbia County line north to go beyond Amazon. And it's not really a DOT study. It's not how many turning lanes you'll need if they do development. It's really, what's the zoning, what's the what's the land inventory, and I think that and one of the other things we discussed, I pointed out to them an article in the Adirondack newspapers about doing a countywide, or up there, a park-wide study of EV services that and what is the gap in Columbia County on where you can get a fast charge. And I guess you can't, there's not many places to get the fast charge in the county now. And what impact the study in the Adirondacks was, what's the negative impact on tourism as people continue to get EV vehicles. And I think that the answer is that absorption rate's slowing down, but at the same time, there's money from the federal government and state to install them. And so if there is an opportunity, and I know Don Meltz at the county planning office has some mapping as to where the existing stations are. And again, just, kind of tie into what can we do to advance tourism in a way that is positive. And the other area was Ulster County just created a advisory board on arts, culture, and tourism. And we had an arts council in Columbia County 10 years ago that kind of dissipated. But when you take, and I was just listening to a webinar on the economic impact of outdoor recreation and arts and cultural organizations, and it's a significant part of our economy, and as is agriculture and manufacturing. So we're working with the supervisors. Broadband, we did not receive the $250,000 broadband equity grant to partner with Greene County, the college, Questar, and our businesses to help small businesses get up to speed on AI and internet access and web marketing and the things that we had included in that grant. They indicated initially that we were ineligible, and I said, well, eligibility was quite clear that we were eligible. They indicated in an email to all of the people that got that email that they meant to say we were ineligible because there were no funds left after they awarded money to others. And I guess Chris has been working on housing, and do you have a quick 90-second update?
Yeah, I can fit the two big ones easily within 90 seconds. So the land bank is, has just passed a contract resolution to acquire its first two parcels from the county. The county has passed the same resolution in their committee meetings. So that the December 10th County Board of Supervisors meeting, the land bank should be seeing an approval of the resolution for it to accept its first two properties. Those properties are already lined up on the back end with an affordable housing developer of reputes. So that first project will be underway by the end of this year, and a second project should be underway at the very beginning of next year with a different affordable housing developer also of quite some renown. So there's a world where we will spend down all the land bank's first round of capital funds in about the next 4 to 5 months, which will be an absolute record for land banks spending funding. Then we can go back to the state and get not just additional funding, but more than we got the first round. The bigger news is, and I've been talking about this a lot, but now I can finally say it officially, every single town and village and also the city of Hudson are now pro-housing certified. So we're the first and only county where everyone is certified. Later today, I'll be submitting an application to HDR for about $250,000 for a vacant, abandoned, and distressed building survey that will include every single town and village of the city of Hudson. And CEDC will manage that program for the county, interfacing with whichever consultants they hire.
And Chris deserves a lot of credit on getting 18 towns, 4 villages in a city, not only to send a letter of intent in to participate in the pro-housing community initiative, but then getting them to submit all of the required data and support information on their zoning and their building department processes and the like. And Adam Zarenko and the governor's office sent us an email congratulating Chris and the team for getting that done. And the Board of Supervisors are putting out a press release shortly. Finally, I have a meeting this afternoon with the chairman of the Board of Supervisors and several members of the board in connection with their request that CEDC be engaged as the local development corporation for the purposes of marketing the sale of 610 State Street, which is the old Hudson High School, original Hudson High School. Once they move the probation department and other agencies that are in that building to 11 Warren Street. It's not uncommon for a municipality to do that through the local development corporation. I haven't committed to doing it because it would require your approval. I don't know the details of what they're going to ask, but I'll have more to report on that in December. But this being such a small community, Mike had a meeting and he's gonna sell the red building. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I know there's a lot more, Lisa and Pat are getting ready for some of the year-end activities. And Steve and Martha, of course, are getting money out on the street and monitoring the various loan programs. And Riley Werner, who's on paid family leave, is going to start back 1 day a week in December, and for 12 weeks will be up at the end of December. So we hope she'll be back by then. So everyone's really pitched in, and I appreciate the rest of the staff covering for some of the work that we weren't able to have Riley do, and we did get some outside help as well.
Thank you, Mike, for updating us on all of the above. Appreciate it very much. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 28th meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. In a few minutes, we'll go into executive session to discuss the search committee's progress. First, a couple of things. One is I need to remind myself to include on the agenda an opportunity for public comment. If there's anyone from the public attending, I don't think we have anyone today.
There is not.
But the public is always welcome to watch and observe the meetings and comment to the board if so inclined. Looking ahead to meetings of the CEDC in December, the executive committee meets December 9th at 8:30. The search committee will meet At the end of that meeting, presumably around 9:30. The audit committee is December 10th. 8:30, the board meeting is December 23rd. At 8:30, 2 days before Christmas. If, I guess we should ask if everybody's gonna be around for that meeting, will we have a quorum? Because we will have business to transact. Any issues with your availability for that meeting?
Board meeting was that? The
23rd,
right?
Tuesday, the 23rd.
Yeah.
We good? Okay. Very good. Anyone from the board with anything to offer? Barry, anything?
Yeah, I'll take this opportunity to, let everybody know a situation I had yesterday. I thought this would be a good forum to bring it up. I had about an hour conversation, and some of you might already know this, with a, employee of Social Security on Warren Street. He happened to be the shop steward for the 3 Social Security offices, Hudson, Poughkeepsie, and Albany. And he advised me that word is, and it's just getting out now, that they are looking to sell that building. And if Social Security doesn't find another building, by the time that's sold, they're gonna close Hudson's office. So I thought that was concerning. Think it's strong that they stay.
It's owned by Richard Koski and it's been on the market for a year.
It's the Art Deco building next.
I didn't realize that
It's
it
that-
wasn't like owned by.
That building there,
Yeah.
The old supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And
I'll
it's
just
got
put
the-
out there that the Columbia Board of Realtors building is for sale in Greenport. That might be a good facility for them.
Yeah, again, I just,
Yeah.
talked to him yesterday afternoon, and then, last night at 8 o'clock, he called and talked back and
We'll
forth.
have to travel to get to social security office.
Are the local social security office like that, they're still federally funded and that's who pays their rent, or is it? does
I
it go
believe the
through-
answer is yes, but I don't really know that.
Oh,
And it's
Um,
used. I meant to go over there
Yeah.
once to straighten something out and you had to wait an hour.
right.
It's,
Yeah.
Oh,
they only lease too, they won't buy the building.
and it's in a
Right.
central location, for people who have to walk and things like
Yeah,
that.
It's an essential service for anyone
Yeah.
who needs income statements.
And that's why I'm bringing
Which
it
are
up.
a lot of people, and
That's
Maybe
why
they
I'm
wanna buy
bringing it
the
up.
county building now.
But this guy happened to be the shop steward for those other 3 locations. So I guess he's already had conversation with the higher ups, and it was pretty clear, I think, under a new commissioner that was originally, appointed not too long ago, is making these decisions. I know he said that they already closed one other location, which I don't remember which one he said, but they closed it. That was the end of it. So if they don't find something before this is sold, they will close the building, and I believe the employees here will be offered jobs in Albany or Poughkeepsie. But again, no guarantees there, but I'm more concerned about them just literally not being here. I actually have a call into the owner of this building because I was thinking of what they've done with the bank. And if they haven't rented the bank, that would be such a great opportunity or a great spot, parking the whole 9 yards. And I actually thought about what Mike said earlier about the public defender's office on State Street. So I just, a bunch of business folks in here, but it'd be a good opportunity for everybody to kind of start thinking about some maybe opportunities. You can get a hold of me if you got ideas. I got to direct to this guy and I can keep him updated.
The interesting thing was that the administration closed the Poughkeepsie Social Security office and for this, based on the same reason, but they found another location and reopened in June of
How
this
much
year.
space do they occupy?
They have more space than they need there.
I don't really know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. There's 3 windows that they don't have people for.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay, so.
I guess there's 2, is there a doctor's office in there and then a dry place in there too?
well, on the backside, you've got Dee Dee well, Dee Barrett used to have her office there. There's a whole bunch of offices.
Okay,
in-
so it
in the
would
back.
affect, obviously.
So yeah, everyone was doing this place.
Yeah, there's a footnote, right?
Yeah,
And there's no like rules about like regionally how close there has to be to populations or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, and the press release that the government put out reopening the Poughkeepsie office. You know, you can still wait in line, you can make an appointment, but most of our services are conveniently available at sss.gov.
yeah, they pushed that a lot.
Yeah.
Right, and will that change as the younger generation, you know, as the older generation
A lot bigger than us.
ages out and new people coming in and somewhat web savvy?
Or we should talk to Kyle, and, because his grandfather owns the building they're leaving,
Yeah, and him in Rockport,
yeah. And
so I already got a call into
then, good.
here. And just get it out there, I don't know, maybe we can do something.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions before we enter executive session? If not, is there a motion to enter executive session?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.